Welcome to the No Limits podcast, where breakthrough strategies in therapeutic education help neurodivergent children learn, connect, and grow in powerful new ways.
Hi, and welcome to the No Limits podcast. My name is Joslin, and I am the CEO of Ability Plus Therapy, a pediatric rehab facility for the last 21 years. I'm also the co-founder of No Limits Academy, which is a school for kids with unique abilities. And then I'm also the co-founder of No Limits Method, which is an educational technology company online, and what we do at No Limits Academy. So today my special guest is my second son, Matthew Joslin. Welcome, Matthew.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's wonderful to see all of you.
Matt is going to tell us a little bit about how he became to be with our family.
Well, I was adopted by you and Dad when I was 3 years old. I was born at 1 pound, 3 ounces, affected greatly by alcohol and drugs. I was thankfully rescued from that situation by DCF and the systems that be out of what I was in for my circumstances. I'm very thankful to have you and Dad as my family and influences, because I would not be both the student and the man I am today without both of your influence. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Matt. Can you tell me a little bit about like when we adopted you? What, you've heard the stories. I know exactly, how you were, but you like lived it. So, what was your function when we took you out of that DCF foster system?
Well, I was entirely nonverbal at that point in my life. I could not sit, crawl, or eat on my own at that point. I needed massive help. And for the first good couple years of my life, I remember you mentioning to me that all I could do was click to respond to things.
Yeah.
One's for yes, 2 for no.
Right.
Yes.
So we had to quickly figure out a way for you to respond to us,
Yes.
And then eventually you retained your own voice, and at that point I just couldn't stop you from talking.
Yes. Even when it might have been a little more helpful.
No. So, your past history means that, there was a lot more than just, a brain injury at birth. There were significant parts of your brain. And I know because, we had a CT scan and we kind of understood like what, was going on with you. And
I believe it was referred to by many doctors as global brain damage.
Right. And especially in the frontal lobe, which is the front and the decision-making processes of your brain.
And the ability to sequence, yes.
And the motor planning cortex and things like that,
Ooh,
yeah. So, but that didn't keep you down.
Definitely not.
Nope, that did not keep you down. How was your experience as a child, like growing up? Because only you know that. Like, I'm your mom, and like I understood it from like looking at it in an outside view, but growing up like with a disability, was there frustrations? Was there, at times where you're like, I just can't overcome, but I'm gonna overcome? Like, give us a little insight on like the you.
I mean, from the perspective of somebody with a disability, especially back then, when I didn't fully understand what was going on or know how to process what having a disability actually meant. Yeah, it did come with a lot of frustration, but
Right.
it also comes with a lot of pluses that you wouldn't really have if you didn't know the framework of having a disability.
Right. And so one of those frustrations at early on in your life, and I know that you've heard the stories and not like really understood, but one of your
Yes.
frustrations was that you would hit yourself, like you'd literally full on hit yourself in the head with your hand,
To the point of almost knocking myself out.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And I could see that that was frustration from not being able to speak what you wanted or how you wanted to tell us. I understood that. Like,
Not being able to verbalize actually what I wanted to get out.
true,
And
true.
physically manifested in very negative ways.
Right.
Thankfully, stopped that for many, many years.
Oh. Yes. And as your verbalization increased and we were able to, in not just our own family language, like getting you what you needed to tell us what was, going on. And then eventually you getting your own voice because there was lots of things that, your motor planning in your mouth because you didn't eat at all at 3 years old. So you had a lot of deficits in that motor planning.
Back then, I couldn't eat. I didn't have the muscle strength
Right.
or motor planning to actually be able to make the biting, chewing, and swallowing actions.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that it took you like almost an entire day starting out to get me to
Eat 3 meals. Yeah. It literally went
Yes.
from, it was hours and hours of feeding and oral motor. Shout out to Beckman because I used her system. So, but Beckman and Associates in Orlando, shout out to them because that's what we really used to get him to the point from bottle fed to like at 3 to moving into feeding and stuff like that. So, yeah, Matt, even all the sensory stuff. When we got you'd never taken a bath. Like you literally would just wiped off in a crib. So not understanding what the pool was or
never taken a bath, never been in a swing.
yeah.
Never understood what a blanket was for.
The swing was interesting. So we put a swing on our back porch, so I would go out there and swing him because he had had none of that in the foster home that he was in. And you would scream bloody murder, like bloody murder. The neighbors would get on their fences and be like, what's happening over there?
Like,
And I was like, I'm just swinging him, which would have been enjoyable to a neurotypical child. But because you'd never had any vestibular or proprioceptive like activity in your life.
and I also had no context vestibularly for what was going on.
Yeah. Well, you didn't even know the word, but you were only 3 and 4,
yeah.
But those kind of things and understanding how movement is used to develop cognitive ability, to develop speech and language, like those are really, really important. So
Definitely.
right.
If I didn't have it to the point where I could master the language that is coming out of my mouth currently, I could not learn other languages as well as I have.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
We'll get to that. So, but it's true. Like you have to start in that pre-K to like 12th grade, March 1st to get them to succeed. So we talk about this every podcast, but I can't speak on it enough. It's really important those early childhood, and then the how behind it.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had a whole team of therapists at Ability Plus Therapy here around me, kind of
Yes.
giving me those, like, and then me finding out some stuff by reading some books or, like, figuring it out for his specific need. But that whole vestibular proprioceptive march, even to the point where we were, really working on your ability to crawl around the house because you'd been in a
Yes.
crib I mean, his situation was so bad in his foster care. He was in a crib almost 24 hours a day. So,
Yes.
we had to do some reshaping of his head with cranial sacral. So you can kind of see that his head's kind of flat on both sides a little bit. Kind of
Yeah,
gives
it
you that
was-
regal, handsome look too, though, right now.
It was some sort of cranial massage.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and it helped you. So, but all of that input into your life, like all that, created a different kind of march,
And it needed to be all of that for me to even make it to this point.
Right. That was where it started. And now we're gonna, it's and we continue to progress on that, right?
Yes.
Throughout your entire life, So, is there anything else you'd like to say, Matt, about anything, about you and how you got to be with our family?
If it wasn't quite literally for the fact of God looking out for me, I wouldn't have had a family to begin with. I wouldn't have had a father. I wouldn't have had you as a mother. I wouldn't have had Shane as a brother or any of the friends that I currently do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to navigate any of the situations that I've been thankful enough to be a part of.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate who you are. I love your wit and your humor.
Thank you very much.
And I appreciate you guys for being here at the No Limits podcast for kids with unique abilities. And the merch I have on today there's a link on our website, and we are worthy, we are able. Children with disabilities and unique abilities can make a difference in your life like he did in mine. And also, you can make a difference in the world. Thank you.